So, welcome to everyone to the weekly Wednesday webinar. We're so excited that you're joining us today. We have Renee DeVincenzo. Oh, I did it
Mhm.
twice in a row without totally messing up. I'm very excited. Joining us for the weekly Wednesday webinar. That's the other part, twister. To discuss, she's from Business Freedom Networking, and she's going to share her wisdom and some of her past with us to share how she's overcome challenges and how we can too. So, with that, Renee, thank you so much for today, and we're looking forward to it. And I will pass the room to you.
Very good. Here we go.
Promise I got you. I got you. I got you.
Well, I just want to say thank you all for being here today. And please let me know if you can see this screen right now. Are you able to see this?
Yes. Yep.
You're good? Good? Okay, great. So I'm so excited about this topic that I'm going to be speaking to you about. I get asked a number of times to share this Focus and Thrive strategies to overcome your challenges. And I just want to say, welcome. I am glad that you have made time for yourself to be here. And I just have to ask you, what is it about music that gets us motivated? That, we could be having like an off day, and then all of a sudden we hear that right tune that, we could be driving in the car, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard this in God knows how long. And then, you put your sunglasses on or your lipstick on or whatever that case may be, and you're just driving and you are truly enjoying the journey of your ride. And that is why they have music for conferences or when you want to, hear a speaker, because music is power. Music makes you feel good, but also keeps your mind open to learn new things that you will be learning when you go to these conferences. So today, when we are going to be speaking about our challenges, I truly want you to think about what a challenge is. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to give you some key strategies and some practical steps to help you overcome some challenges, as well as helping you to manage your workload effectively and also achieve those goals that you are wanting to do maybe by the end of this year. But most of all, the tips that I will be giving you and the techniques are something that you're going to implement right away. So think about challenges. Well, one, they're always a part of life. We can never get rid of them, but we can learn how to work with them because there are three areas when it comes to challenges. The first is the problem. The second is the symptom. And then the third is the solution. So, if a challenge comes to mind right now, I really would like you to write it down. And as I'm going through the slides to talk to you a little bit more about challenges, more may come to mind and you could write them down. When you're thinking about challenges, it could be maybe trying to get out of the house on time. Maybe you're trying to find your car keys. Or you know what? I hear a lot from my clients to say, I wish my family would take me serious as a business owner. Because I work from home, my family thinks that I could drop everything and tend to their needs. And that is actually putting your mind frame of how serious are you about your business? Is your business a hobby or are you running your business as those others will see it too? So when you think about it, and as I was talking just before about driving the car and feeling great, and then you may have a challenge where, oh my gosh, I'm now coming up to traffic. This was not in my plan. And what happens with the problem? It's I'm going to be late for work. I am not going to get the kids to school on time. And when you have kids in the car, you may even get the, oh, I have to go to the bathroom or use the restroom. But when they say it, they're not giving you a warning. They're like, I got to do it now. So how do you feel? You may feel anxious. You may feel frustrated. You may get overwhelmed. But as you're driving in your car and you see that traffic, do you stay in the middle lane? Or is the solution to go into the slow lane? This way you can now get off at the next exit, and then you can continue with your journey and maybe take a different route. So when you're looking at a problem, you can always have that solution. Okay. Now, an area that I will share with you that I had a challenge with is when I was ready to leave my house, I get into my garage and I have a flat tire. And the first thing I said is, how do I get a flat tire while my car is in the garage, right? So I said, okay, now what am I going to do? And then I started to get a little bit anxious, but that's when I remembered I had the AA card where I just made a phone call, and within 5 minutes, they came to my house, they changed my tire, and I was on my way. So when you have a lot to do with backup or put your plan in place, you will find that it will be a lot easier. And you may even find too that your challenge could be time management, trying to get through your day. And why is it that you are not able to finish what it is that you are wanting to do? So we're going to just kind of look at some of the common hurdles right now that we find with challenges. And as you see, there's a list here. Maybe some of these you may fall into, but think about it. Maybe you don't have, it's a lack of confidence. And that could be a challenge where you always want to do something, but you know what? You're just not sure of yourself. And a lot of times when it comes to challenges, you have to know who you are and why are these challenges coming across. How is it that you're working your business or trying to balance that work-life balance? And confidence could be, I can't look at a video and do a video on social media. I know I was like that at one time too. And some of you may remember the Brady Bunch, but there was that time, I think it was Jan, and she was at a debate. And as soon as that video went on, she saw that red light and she just froze. And believe it or not, I was like that myself. I could not do videos. I was too afraid that, you know, am I going to say the right thing? What are people going to think of me? So my confidence there had to grow within time, because what I did was I practiced and I just did videos for myself. And then before you know it, I said to myself, what is the worst thing that's going to happen if it doesn't work out? People are just going to know who I am, and they're going to take me for who I am. And when you and this all kind of comes into a mindset. Now, the way we think, like they say, what you think about, you bring about. And a lot of times when it comes to that mindset, we just feel that we're not capable of doing it. But how do you get yourself in that right frame? And that's where that self-talk comes into. Sometimes my husband will walk in on me and go, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "Me. I'm talking to myself." And he's like, okay. And he'll kind of leave. But when you kind of need to do something or give a presentation and you're working on it in your head, you start to practice and it starts to motivate you. So, the way we think about a lot of things can hold us back because we are just feeling that we don't have that confidence to be able to speak on stage, or to be able to, teach classes. A lot that you had saw in that video that before we started were my challenges to become a sales director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, challenges to be able to even stand in front and give a presentation, or even to be able to give a master class and share information with people. And a lot what I had to do was I had to just go after it. I had to do it because, like I always said, what is the worst thing that can happen? But there's one thing that was said to me when I was in direct sales. And I had a challenge of becoming a sales director. I kept trying, and I just could not get there. And, I was talking to a national sales director about it, and she was so sweet, and she just listened to me. And you know what she said? She said to me, if I don't like what I see in the mirror, I have to do something about it because I'm not going to get another face. And when she said that to me, I was like, oh my God. I thought to myself, either she's really mean or what she's telling me is to go back to the drawing board and go back to what you learned and figure it out until it works for you. And you know what? She was right. Because what I did was I started to change the wheel. I started to add things. I'm like, oh, let me try this. Oh, let me try that. Instead of just following direction as though it has been laid out. And that's when we come into like perfection, like being like perfect at it. And this is where it comes to our time. You see, sometimes we are working on projects. Now, the challenge could be, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to put this together. And now you're trying to think about it. And that's the part too where procrastination comes in. And it's like, okay, I got to get this done in 3 months. All right, I have time. And then before you know it, your presentation's coming or what you need to do, and you don't have anything ready. So a lot of tips that I can give you with this is if you are working on something and you put it together, I would say for that day and you're done, finish it and leave it alone. Go back to it the next day and then take a look at it. What changes do you want to make? Because before you know it, you could start a project in the morning and now it's 5 o'clock. That's how much time that you had spent, and all you were doing is going over and over and rechanging and doing this because you just didn't think it was right. It's just not perfect yet. And another area too is you can have second eyes look at it. Do not be afraid of that feedback because that is the best resource you can get. You see, we see our projects one way. It's because we're doing it and we understand it. But when another person takes a look at maybe what it is that you put together and they're not getting the message, now you know there's something that needs to change. Because if you kept it and you were trying to build up your clientele, trying to get new business, and they were not getting it, think of the time that you spent on that presentation, but you didn't get results from it. So when it comes to perfectionism, I truly want you to know that embrace the process of learning and that opportunity. And then you're going to find that each step that you do, it's just going to get a little easier. And then you're going to be able to move quicker and also move forward with that. And the part about which goes into comparing. Do you know how many times we compare ourselves to others? Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I would love to be able, to start a business, but I just don't know how because I can't do it like Josie's doing it. There's one thing that we have to remember that we may start, or sometimes we don't, but even if we start the same way, we all finish differently. And, when you think about comparison, there's one thing that you have that the other person doesn't. And that is that we all are unique in different ways. So when you're thinking about what it is that you're doing, how unique are you? Is it going to bring that interest? What's your style? How are you bringing that information across? Because each of us are different in how we do that. I happen to like doing the music. Other people may not. I also like to be a little bit of laugh at myself a bit. Am I perfect in everything I do? Of course not. I can't even tell you how many times things can happen. I just may not get it done the right way. But I had to learn how to stop comparing myself to the next person because what happened was it blocked my own vision for myself. It blocked my goals. And when we think about when we compare ourselves, we're always having that fear to failure. And that is why I left this to be the last one. Because when we are afraid of moving forward, we truly go nowhere with that because we are afraid that it's just, people are either going to laugh at me or I'm not going to be able to do it. Now, a lot of things too, when it came to my fear, was that, believe it or not, I never wanted to be a business owner, ever. And the reason why was because my parents, coming from a different country, came here, they had a bakery. Failure was not accepted. You had to be good right away in the beginning. And I didn't want to put myself in that situation. So I'm like, I'm not going to fail, so I'm not going to do it. But then as time went on, I always had that strive of wanting to help others. And I had learned from my failures, and I learned a lot when I was a sales director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, because success is achieved by those that know how to fail. When something doesn't work, you push it aside. Okay, we are not going to try that. But I want you to think about having two angels on your shoulder. Now you have the one angel saying, yeah, go out, do it. You're not going to know until you try. And then you have the other angel going, all right, this sounds good, but what if? As soon as we get that but what if in our minds, we're not moving forward. We're done because we're talking ourselves out of it. I use the analogy of a baby. When babies are little, they learn how to crawl. Then before you know it, they're going to walk. But the one thing that a baby doesn't have is fear because they're going to go right out there and get it. I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk, right? We as parents are, oh my gosh, be careful. I hope baby doesn't fall to the coffee table because we have the fear. Because when we're little, we don't know it, but as we grow older, fear is instilled with us because of society and what it is that we hear today, and what it is that we see, or how it was that we were raised. So if you do not let fear stop you, how far can you go? Where is it can you be? Especially now that we have 2 months to the end of the year. What is it that you are wanting to do in 2025 that maybe you didn't think you could do? And I will share, I never thought I could be a speaker on stage, an entrepreneurial speaker. Because as a speaker and an entrepreneurial speaker, I share my journey. Everything that I'm sharing with you is what I have gone through and what I have learned, and the information that I am bringing forth. So when we're looking at these common hurdles and maybe some things that I've said, I hope you're writing it down and put your number next to it. And after we're done, I will help you to explain what those numbers mean. So when we want to focus and we want to have strategies of how do I do all of this, and when managing your distractions, I will tell you that I can't even tell you how many times we're distracted during the day. And I don't even know if you realize that as we own a business or go through life, we pick up our phones 1,500 times in 1 week. That's losing 1 day of productivity. Every 11 minutes, we are interrupted either with something on our computer, a pop-up comes on, or our kids are calling us, or maybe your husband wants something from you. And when we're interrupted like that, it takes us 25 minutes to get back on track. So when you are working, especially if you're working from home, it is so important to find an area that you know is going to be a workspace where you will not get interruptions. Sometimes it's a little challenging, but after a while, when you figure out your space, you'll get that area and maybe close that door. Because my husband knows when I'm working, that door's closed. Don't knock on the door unless there's really a super emergency. But the other area when it comes to challenges and how to stay focused are your visual goals. Now, what are visual goals? And this is clearly what you want to achieve. Think about it. What do you want to achieve in 90 days, right? Now, 90 days is actually going to be into the new year. And that's by now putting that plan of action in place. When you put that plan of action in place, that's your blueprint. Each day you are doing something to achieve that goal, but you have to ask yourself, when it comes to your goals, what are 5 things that you want from your family, for your family, 5 things you want for your business, but then what are 5 things you want for yourself? Now, that is an area that can be challenging because sometimes we just don't know. It may not come right away, but when you have this every day to write it down, you now know what you're working for because a vision of your goals is something you can see. And when you can see it, we're blind and we forget. And then we're like, oh, yeah, I wanted to do that. But when you're looking at your visual, look at what could be holding you back from it. What's that core reason? But it's very important too to put your deadlines down, your timelines down, because when that day comes, that's when you want to achieve these goals. And when it comes to practicing to being an active listener, now you have to ask yourself, are you? Are you hearing what people are saying? Or are you ready to come forth with what you want to say? And this really is important when it comes to finding out who truly is your target market in your business. Because we can waste a lot of time on people, not even people, but businesses, but be in that wrong direction of people who truly can't use our services, could not give us the right referrals. So when you're listening to people speaking, can you help that person? And if there's a key thing that they're talking about, always repeat the question back. Now you're confirming it. And now that person is coming to you saying, yes, exactly. And then you go on with your, talking. But when you're an active listener, what happens is you're getting that information. Now you're processing it to say, hey, you know what? You may want to get that person's business card, put a little star on it and say, we need to connect. And then you go into that one-on-one. Now, always remember with the active listener is a lot of times we're challenged with, we just want to say everything about what we do instead of asking the question, talking to the person that you're having that one-on-one with, that you feel that could be a potential client, repeating back that question, and then always talking about how can I help you to achieve what you just shared? Because when you're getting that answer, they're giving you permission then to move further with them, to be working with them. And this all comes about when you're looking at your daily routine. And I said a little bit about time management. A lot of times when we look at our daily routine, it's thinking of what we just have to do within that day. But when you think of your daily routine, it's what is it that you are doing every week that is repetitive and needs to be done at that specific time. Like Boss Babes, right? Every Monday, 3 p.m., it's on my calendar because that is when I know I can't have any more appointments in between. Is it taking the kids to school? Is it doing networking events? Whatever that repetitive area is, that needs to be put into your daily schedule every day. And it's really important that when you have your daily routine, that you're always planning a week ahead. And the reason for that is now you are spacing for hiccups. And what do I mean by hiccups? Hiccups are those areas where you just did not plan, like my flat tire, right? But when you're giving yourself a little bit more time and you do have a challenging area come up, you're not going to be late for your appointments because now you have this leeway, right? In the middle, they're like, oh, okay, I still have time to do that. A lot of times my challenges when it comes to my daily routine is trying to find my wallet or my keys. And there was a time where I was running around crazy looking for my wallet. Where was it? I was holding it underneath by my arms. Didn't even know I was holding it because I was so focused on, oh my gosh, I got to find this. So when you slow down a little bit and you kind of look at what you do, and my solution now is everything's in my bag, my keys, my wallet, it's right there in the one area, and I'm able to find what I'm looking for. A lot of times too, we think multitasking is the best thing to do. I can multitask. And you know what? Sometimes it is. And sometimes it can not be such a great area to do. And the reason why I say that is when you multitask, that means you're doing more than one project. You're starting on here, then you're running over to this, and now you're going to that. Number of times what happens is that you may leave pieces out and you may not realize what you forgot until it is the day that you needed the materials that you're working with. So the best way to limit multitasking is, again, schedule your projects. If you want to work something on 2 hours, you put that one project down and put that timer on. I know you probably heard it, but ask yourself, do you truly do it? So you can finish what it is that you are wanting to do. So when you finish each task fully, you'll find that you won't have to repeat it and you're not going to have to do it so many times over. And also, too, you won't be so overwhelmed because you're holding so much stuff and mindset. So when it comes to the key elements, and I truly want you to really, really think about it. When it comes to a positive outlook, it's really when you focus on finding what good came out of this, right? If you're having challenges that are repetitive, why are they repetitive? What's happening to always have that occur? But the one thing too is your positive outlook is going to help you get through the situation. It's going to give you a better attitude. So what do you do? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I put music on for the beginning of the day, or I listen to a podcast. And I happen to love Mel Robbins. I think she's great. I love her topics. And it helps me to shift on, you know what, I could handle this differently than if a situation has come up. So think about what is going to be your positive outlook when situations occur that could be out of your control, but how do you gain that control back? Remember, you are the vehicle to how you run your day. We all know how to get in the car. We all know how to hold that steering wheel, and we all know how to turn it on. The question is, how do you want to get from point A to point B driving safely, right? So when you look at areas, just say, you know what, instead of getting upset about it, the more you could figure it out, the quicker your challenges will not be there. When it comes to your problem solving and your skills, and some of them I kind of shared a little bit today on that, but problem solving is how are you basically going to put everything in together? Are you a problem solver? Now, I'm going to share this with you. An example of a problem solver. When I was by my daughter's house one night, or I should say, I just went to visit. And in the morning when I woke up, I saw in the kitchen this blue liquid coming out. And I thought, what the heck is that? When I opened it, I saw it was the detergent, right? It fell on the floor. But the funny thing is that the bottle was sitting upright, closed, and nothing was dripping out. Now I'm going to myself, oh my God. So my son-in-law, who I woke up, was right like in the living room there. And I told him what happened. And he got up, he looked at it, he took his phone, and he left the house. I said, maybe that's what I should have done. Go down to the gas station, get a cup of coffee, and hopefully when I come back, it's gone. It's all cleaned up. But when he came back, he had cat litter. And what he did was he poured it on the liquid that was on the floor. And I said, oh, that was pretty smart. I would have thought about it. You see, my son-in-law was an officer in the Army. Now, you know, when a problem comes, you can't let those symptoms overwhelm you. You have to find that solution. And that's just exactly what he did. He looked on the phone. How do you clean it up? Get the cat litter, boom, it was done. So problem solving is really an area of how are you going to look at the situation without getting that overwhelming, but find the right answer to what it is needed. So when you're looking also at the flexibility and adversity, you have to really look at how much, want to get time that you are giving yourself, and also what it is that you're putting into how you want to work with your challenges. So a lot of stuff that I had shared with you at this moment with some of these challenges, you're actually going today getting a free gift from me, and I'm going to be sharing that with you. And before I do that and I share with you, and if time management happens to be an area where you are truly struggling, remember that there are 7 steps. You have to truly understand, out of these 7 steps, where are the areas that you find that you may need to understand and learn more about. A lot has to do with our habits, right? When we learn how to change our habits, and we now work differently, just like I shared with my phone and my keys and my wallet. I had to change that habit of not just putting everything down, but having one area of where I want to do it. This here is a code or a scan. You can learn a little bit more about it. You could see the areas maybe where you want to improve so you can have a better time management for yourself, and you'll be able to work through your strategies. I also am going to put all these links that I'm going to be sharing with you in the chat, and we'll give you the opportunity to view it at your time. And this is Mel Robbins, and like I said, she's my favorite podcast person. And if you do not learn how to untangle your feelings from your actions, you will never unlock the true potential. And that, to me, is such an important statement, because untangling is what holds us back. If we don't let go of that, we'll never know who it is that we could become. We'll never know what it is that we could have done in our journey with our business or even with our personal life. So when you take each day, and if something comes up, do not let that problem overcome you. Understand how you're feeling about it. Now, what is that solution going to be for you? So I wanted to invite you today to having a Refining Your Path success call. If you're truly looking for a person that you can trust, looking for more in-depth understanding and having clear solutions, I invite you to have a chat with me and see where is it that you want to go, or what is your challenges. Now, if you recall, I asked you to put some numbers next to maybe some challenges that you might be having. And the reason why is the lowest to the highest, you're going to see what is the most important area that needs your attention. And I did this exercise with a client of mine, and she had 4 areas. She loved to work out. She had to finish her doctorate. Her family wasn't taking her seriously. And she had her own business that she wanted to grow. When we did this number system, she saw the workout was important, but not really that important. But what was the most important was her doctorate to finish, and the second was her family to take her serious about her business. And she could not drop everything to go and help them. And you know what? She did it. Now, when her family calls her, she lets them know, these are my available dates. And the other dates, I am not able to help you because I am working. And that's the key. Are you telling your family, I'm working? I may not have a 9-to-5 job, and I may not be in a different office. My office is in the home, and this is what I have to do. So I invite you to have a chat with me. It's going to be a phone call, and feel comfortable in sharing things with me, and let's work with you to get to where you want to be. And my gift for you today is Focus and Thrive Strategies to Overcome Challenges. A lot what I had shared, this is a guide with a little bit more information, giving you a little bit more details, more than I was able to cover with you at this moment. And all you need to do is scan it and download it. It's also a flip book, and you can also download it on a PDF. So, as I shared, I am going to put this in the chat, and I'm going to now open this for a Q&A. Here I go, a Q&A, and to answer any questions that you may have in regards to what it was that I had shared with you today.
Awesome.
Any
Does anyone
feedback?
have any questions for Renee? I'm going to stop recording because maybe Deb will instigate some.